Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be looking at equations. So look at these expressions and you have to decide which ones are equations. So the first one, 2x equals y, and then 2y minus 3. Third one, 6x plus 4y. Fourth one, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Fifth one, bracket x minus 5, close bracket, open bracket, x plus 5, close bracket. So look at those. You have to decide which ones are equations. Now, I'm going to go ahead now with the answer. If you need a bit more time, then just pause the video and unpause it when you're ready. Okay, here's the answer coming up now. And the answer is number 1 and number 4 are equations. Why? How are they different from the other ones? And the answer to that is they've got equal signs. That is how you tell if something is an equation or not. It's got an equal sign. The other ones, number 2, number 3, number 5, don't have an equal sign. So the word equation is like the word equal. It means two things are the same. With equation, the total of the numbers on the left of the equal sign equal or are the same as the total of the numbers on the right of the equal sign. So let's look at adding, minus, multiplying, and dividing equations. You can do any of these things to the equation as long as you do the same thing to both sides of the equal sign. And I think you already know this. Forget about math for a minute. What if your class had 20 students, 10 girls and 10 boys? Boys and girls are equal. What if the teacher told 4 boys and 4 girls to go outside? So she subtracted them from the groups. Would the number of boys and girls in the classroom still be equal? Answer yes, there would be 6 boys and 6 girls, so they would still be equal. And you can try this for any number. Suppose we do it with 1. We say 1 boy and 1 girl was sent out. Then it would be 10 minus 1 boy for the boys equals 9. 10 minus 1 girl for the girls equals 9. They are still equal. You can do it with any number you choose. Okay, now let's say we have 6 boys and 6 girls in the class. So 4 of them have gone out. The teacher asks 2 boys and 2 girls to come back from outside and join in. She adds them to the present groups. Are the number of boys and girls still equal? And the answer to that one is yes again. So let's try it with divide. If we ask half the people in each group to go outside, are the boys and girls groups both the same size? And the answer again is yes. And finally, what happens if we make each group 3 times as big? Are the numbers still equal? And the answer for that one is yes. So conclusion, we can add or minus or multiply or divide as long as we do the same for both groups. The group size will stay the same. So I think you already knew that. So far I haven't told you anything you didn't already know. Now we'll try to translate from English into math speak. And this might be new. So math speak. So we're going to use letters instead of real words. That's what they do in algebra. We'll call the boys B and the girls G. So we can say B equals G because we know they have the same number of students. In our example, this is 10 each, 10 boys and 10 girls. So we can say B equals 10. and G equals 10. The first thing we did was the teacher sent 4 students from each group outside. So we can say B minus 4, boys minus 4, equals G minus 4, girls minus 4. Then we got 2 girls and 2 boys to come back in. So the math speak looks like B minus 4 plus 2 equals G minus 4 plus 2. And because they are both numbers, we can calculate minus 4 plus 2 and call it minus 2. So a simpler way to write the equation is B minus 2 equals G minus 2. So starting again with 10 boys and 10 girls. The next thing we did was to get half the girls and half the boys to go outside. In math speak, this looks like B divided by 2 equals G divided by 2. And finally, we made each group 3 times as big, times 3. So translating that into math speak, it looks like B times 3 equals G times 3. Or we can write it as 3B equals 3G. Now before we go any further, I want to check something. It all seems to work okay if the groups are the same size, 10 boys and 10 girls. What if they're different? Let's say we start with 10 boys and 20 girls. So instead of B equals 10 and G equals 10, this time it's B equals 10 and G equals 20. So the equation is B equals G divided by 2. So 10 equals 20 divided by 2. And then the next step, we take away 4 from each group. So we have B minus 4 equals G divided by 2 minus 4. So B minus 4 is 10 minus 4, so that equals 6. G divided by 2 is 10. Minus 4 is 6. So yes, they are still equal. So conclusion, with equations you can add and minus and multiply and divide as long as you do exactly the same thing to both sides. If you do it to one side but not the other, you're down the toilet. That's English idiom. And there's a picture for you. If you put B times 2 equals C instead of B times 2 equals C times 2, you've got big problems. You're down the toilet. Okay, writing problems as equations. Equations are a math speak way of writing problems. And the main method is to call the answer a letter. So let's say Nonananu goes to the market and buys 1 kilo of corn and 2 kilos of tomatoes. And we want to know how heavy her bag is. So we start by calling the answer X. Then we can say X, the answer, equals 1 kilo, the corn, plus 2 kilos, the tomatoes. So X equals 1 plus 2. And when you do the 1 plus 2, you get X equals 3. 3 kilos is how heavy her bag is. So in these questions, I want you to change the story in normal English into an equation by calling the answer X. You don't need to answer the equation, you just need to make the equation. So here we go. Nonananu buys 30 eggs at the shop. On the way home, she breaks 3 of them. How many did she have when she got home? So the answer here is not 27. The answer is going to be an equation. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with the answer now. And it is X equals 30 minus 3. Okay, next one. Same situation. You need to create the equation from the words. You don't need to answer the equation. So Sotet has a piece of bamboo 4 meters long. He cuts it into 2 equal pieces. How long is each piece? So what is the equation for that? Okay, and the answer, x equals 4 divided by 2, or you can write it as x equals 4 over 2, as it is on the right there. So in this one, Thramumupo needs to buy 3 notebooks for every student in her class. There are 20 students. How many notebooks does she need? So you need to write the equation. You don't need to give me a number. And the answer is x equals 20 times 3. 20 students times 3 notebooks per student. Next one. No, not the next one. Okay, so let's look at simplifying equations. Equations can be long and complicated, and it's always good to make them as simple as possible. So here's some ideas about how to do that. Firstly, look for things that are the same units. So for example, 3x plus 5 minus x minus 10 equals 25. We can simplify because we've got 3x and minus x. They're the same kind of units, they're x's. So we can 3x minus x, you get 2x. So now instead of 3x plus 5 minus x minus 10 equals 25, we have 2x plus 5 minus 10 equals 25. And we have the 3x there and the x there, and now combined into 2x in the final formula, or at least the next stage of the formula. We're going to continue to simplify it. So now we've got 2x plus 5 minus 10 equals 25. So we can simplify the plain numbers. So plus 5 and minus 10. So plus 5 minus 10 equals minus 5. So now the equation is 2x minus 5 equals 25. Now the rule is that if you change something to the other side of the equal sign, you have to change the sign to the opposite one. So plus to minus, minus to plus, multiply to divide, divide to multiply. So we take the minus 5 from the left, and it becomes plus 5 on the right. So the equation becomes 2x equals 25 plus 5, or 2x equals 30. And finally, we can divide both sides of our equation, 2x equals 30, by 2. So the simplest equation is x equals 15. So how does the rule work? The rule is that if you change something to the other side of the equal sign, you have to change the sign to the opposite. Instead of following the rule, we could add 5 to both sides, because you have to do the same thing to both sides. So on the left, we would have minus 5 plus 5, which is 0. On the right, we would have 25 plus 5, and the equation is now 2x equals 25 plus 5. So looking at these two things together, the effect is the minus 5 has disappeared from the left, and now we have plus 5 on the right. And the result is the same as if we followed the rule. So following the rule is basically easier. So the next question, we have to simplify 6x minus 4 equals 2x plus 4. So first we find the things that are the same kind. So we have two simple numbers. Move them both to the same side and join them together. So we'll move the 4 on the left to the right and change the sign. So the equation becomes 6x equals 2x plus 4 plus 4. Join the two 4's so it becomes 6x equals 2x plus 8. Are there any other things of the same kind? Yes, there are two figures with x. Let's move them to the same side and join them together. We'll take the 2x from the right to the left and change the sign. So the new equation is 6x minus 2x equals 8. And then we join the 6x minus 2x to make 4x. And the equation is 4x equals 8. Now we can divide both sides by 4. 4x divided by 4 is x. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now the equation is x equals 2. That is the first part of the answer to the question. We have simplified as much as possible. It's also the answer to the second part. We have solved and found out what x is. X is 2. Next one, we're going to simplify x squared times x minus 8 equals 19. So let's start by joining the two simple numbers. We'll move the minus 8 from left to right and change the sign to plus. So we join the two simple numbers together and we get x squared times x equals 27. So now we can join the x squared and the x. Remember that x squared means x times x. So we can write the left side as x times x times x. And this is x cubed with a little 3 up high. So we can make the equation x cubed equals 27. That is the answer to simplifying the equation as much as possible. But you may know also that 27 is 3 times 3 times 3, or 3 cubed. So we can say x cubed equals 3 cubed. So we can remove the powers on both sides, and we are left with x equals 3. And that is the answer to part 2. We have solved the equation. Next one, x plus y minus 17 equals 7. So first step, move the two simple numbers to the same side. So we're left with x plus y equals 24. And that's it. You cannot simplify it anymore. And you cannot find out what is x and y. For example, x could be 20 and y could be 4. So x plus y would be 24. Or x could be 10 and y could be 14. X plus y would still be 24. Can you think of any other values for x and y that would work for x plus y equals 24? Try it. Next one, x plus 15 divided by 5 equals 3. So work on the simple numbers first. Multiply both sides by 5. Or move the divide by 5 to the other side and change to a multiply. It does exactly the same thing. So the equation becomes x plus 15 equals 3 times 5. Or x plus 15 equals 15. So we move the 15 on the left to the right. So we get x equals 15 minus 15. 15 minus 15, of course, is 0. So the answer is x equals 0. Next one, x times 3 divided by 6 equals 15 times 2 divided by 10. So to start with, we're going to multiply both sides by 6. So the equation will become x times 3 equals 15 times 2 times 6 divided by 10 on the right. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 10. So it becomes x times 3 times 10 equals 15 times 2 times 6. So on the left, x times 3 times 10 becomes 30x. 3 times 10, 30, multiplied by x equals 30x. And on the right, 15 times 2 times 6 becomes 180. No x's there. So joining the two sides together, we get 30x equals 180. And then we divide both sides by 30 to get the answer, which is x equals 6. Now we're going to look at equations with brackets. And the example we're going to work with is x equals 5 bracket 6 minus x close bracket. Now we can't follow the normal rule and do the bracket first because we cannot simplify 6 minus x. So we have to multiply the brackets. The 5 outside the bracket means everything inside the bracket has to be multiplied by the number before the bracket. So we have to multiply 5 times 6, but we also have to multiply 5 times x. So the equation becomes x equals 30 minus 5x. Put both x figures on the same side and we get x plus 5x equals 30, or 6x equals 30. We divide both sides by 6 and we get x equals 5. Next one, x brackets 15 times 2 close brackets equals 10 brackets 4 plus x close brackets. So we do the brackets first. 15 times 2 equals 30. So the left side becomes 30x. We can't do the right side bracket yet. So on the right side, we multiply 10 times 4 equals 40. And 10 times x equals 10x. So the equation becomes left side 30x equals right side 40 plus 10x. So we move the 10x to the other side and change the sign. Becomes 30x minus 10x equals 40. Then 30x minus 10x is 20x. So 20x equals 40. And then divide both of those by 10. And we get 2x equals 4. And then divide again by 2. And we get x equals 2. And the next one, 7 equals 6, brackets 6 minus x divided by 4. So we have to multiply out the brackets. So 6 times 6 equals 36. And 6 times minus x equals minus 6x. So the equation becomes 7 equals 36 minus 6x over 4. Next step, we multiply both sides by 4. So we get on the left, we get 7 times 4 equals 28. And on the right, we can just get rid of the divide by 4 on the bottom. So we get 28 equals 36 minus 6x. Next step, we move the 36 to the left side. And we get 28 minus 36 equals minus 6x. And that is minus 8 equals minus 6x. So you can multiply by minus 1 or cancel the two minus signs. This has the same effect, and it becomes 6x equals 8. And finally, we can divide by 6. So we've got x equals 8 over 6. And you can do that on your calculator. The answer is 1.33. X equals 1.33. X brackets 7 plus x, close brackets, divided by x equals 8. The quickest way to do this is to divide the top and the bottom by x. And you can see how that is done. We put a line through the x on the top and the x on the bottom. And then it becomes very simple. 7 plus x equals 8. Move the 7 from left to right and change the sign. The final version is x equals 8 minus 7, or x equals 1. Now, same equation here. X brackets 7 plus x over x equals 8. A longer way to do the same thing. You can multiply both sides by x. So on the left, we'd get x brackets 7 plus x, and we would lose the x on the bottom. On the right, we would get 8x. Now we divide both sides by x, and we get 7 plus x equals 8. And the rest of this method is the same as the previous one. If you look at this first action on this slide, we multiplied by x. And then, second action, we divided by x. So the second action reverses the first one. That's why the other way is quicker and better. Doing something and then undoing it immediately is kind of dumb. So you can see in the picture we have these guys at the bottom with spades in their hand, and their boss is saying to them, I want you to dig a hole, and when you're finished, fill it up again. And the guy on the right is thinking, this guy's just making work for us. And we don't want to do that with our maths equations. And this is the end, my friends. See you next time.